At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Uh-oh. There we go. Why, hello, 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 hello. We're back. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but we're back. So the title seems really, really funny. It's not just animating; it's also rambling a lot about Natlan lore because I am still quite. Oh, that's loud. Hold on for a second. Let me lower that a little bit. Because I am still very much on the high of like my recent video, and now that I finally have the whole thing released, I could just like go on and on and on and on and on about it. And so I hope it doesn't become like too annoying for you guys. That's why I put it on the title. I'll probably obviously talk about other stuff as well, but like my brain currently right now at this very moment is just like, oh my god, Natlan lore. Especially since I haven't played the new Mondstadt Archon quest, because I've already mentioned I'm going to wait until the next patch to play that. And also with the event going on in Fontaine, I was actually thinking that maybe we could start playing that on Thursday, if I'm able to stream, of course. Yeah, play on Thursday, because my dumb little brain suddenly realized, wait, this is an event. Like, they're limited time events, they're only really there for the patch. And so, and if I want to play it, which I do, I'll have to play it before it's gone forever. And there's probably gonna be like a new weapon, and I like collecting the weapons on event quests. But yeah. So those are like the opening stuff. Might as well just jump on in, get on to start doodling. Also, if the music that I was playing suddenly started playing ads while I was prepping, then I'm so sorry. Hopefully this one doesn't have too many ads. Alright. Might as well just get to animating. Cora says hello, hi, welcome. Yeah, we're just doing more of the same. I did a little bit more just animating myself. I am almost done with all of the Robin parts, so we're probably gonna get started on the Guy of Gisborne parts, which will be super fun. Alright. Let's get to the Scary Infinite Void, and actually, on that Scary Infinite Void, y'all seeing, like, everything here, but I actually think I could make you... That's not how it works. Okay. I see. Because I can't help but feel like my little avatar is just a little bit, just the tiniest bit. Actually, no, we can leave that there for now. Alright. Sorry. There we go. Just make sure everything's, working fine. Robin's head is way too big. It is way too big for this. But, yeah. One of the main reasons I wanted to make that Natlan video was A, because I genuinely fell in love with... Let's see, I already liked Natlan before, while I was doing the main story. I already liked it fine. But it really was during the Little One quest, or the Nugget Saga, as I called it. It really was the Little One quest that, like, it seriously turned Natlan for me from, like, you know, a region where I see what they were doing, but I don't think they succeeded super well, to, like, the Little One quest seriously, like, not completely changed my opinions on Natlan, because I already liked it. I was already really liking the region, so I'm not gonna be like, oh, it 100% changed, like, how I view Natlan. But it was definitely, it made Natlan go from, yeah, I was like, I can see them trying to figure stuff out too. No, y'all had stuff figured out. Y'all knew what you were doing. Y'all were cooking. Why didn't you cook in the main stuff? You know? Cora says, listened to your video on Natlan on my way to class yesterday. It was really good. Thank you. Yeah, no, like, and that's, because I think I mentioned it a couple times on stream, or maybe it didn't, I don't remember, but I do remember thinking it. on stream where, like, Natlan is so frustrating to me because Natlan has a lot of issues with the main story. Like, even me who did like the main story had some, like, issues with it. And so to see in these world quests that, like, let's admit it, the majority of players are not going to play, and I can't blame them. I was that. I did not care about world quests at all until that Remuria quest that I keep mentioning, like, all the freaking time. It wasn't until then that I suddenly realized, like, oh, there's some good stuff here. And so it's like frustrating where it's like you put all of this effort on a part of the game that, like, most people aren't even going to play, you know? And it kind of sucks because it's like a lot of what people wanted out of Natlan, a lot of what I wanted out of Natlan is there. Like, we have like war-torn lands with fighting tribes and the complicated politics between dragons and humans and the ramifications of, like, interbreeding, I guess. Like, we have a lot of this. Oh, not only that the fact that the dragons are, like, a society, like an advanced society, a lot like a human society. And so there's such a thing as, like, impeachments. You know what I mean? There's such a thing as impeachments and that good old, like, human racism, and again, it's just so much cool stuff. Oh man, the fact that the dragons actively kept the tribes in a constant state of war to ensure that they don't rebel against them. Like, the Huitzilopochtli, it's an atom bomb. Okay, it's not literally an atom bomb, but it's so clearly meant to be like an allusion to an atom bomb. I mean, friggin' hell, like, when you turn that thing on, you literally see these two spheres rubbing against each other, kind of like atoms. Like, come on. It's just like, and especially with the Huitzilopochtli and its very strong allusions to, I don't know if an atom bomb specifically, but just, like, weapons of mass destruction. Weapons of mass destructions, WMDs, that's what they're called. Just the fact that they are clearly an allusion to that. And I remember I was talking to a friend about that, and I said, like, what is this? Like, what is this? Actual concepts of war being used in the Nation of War? And that's the thing about the main story that I feel like it's something that was so severely missing from it being the Nation of War. It's the fact that, like, okay, it's the fact that war isn't just fighting. That's just fighting. That is not what war is. War is this, like, really, really complicated thing. It's this really, really complicated thing. And a thing that can have ripple effects for years and years and years to come on both sides. And they really didn't use that in the main story. Because the war in the main story was just kind of like, fight the abyss, you know? And it's not exactly what a war is, you know? But, yeah. And then here comes the actual lore. And it's like, okay, here are these two warring species. Here are the dragons, and here are the humans. Both of them having, honestly, very understandable reasons as to why they fight. Were they good? No, not at all. Both sides were horrible. I mean, that's the reason why the Dragon Sage kind of lost hope, is because both sides were terrible towards each other and the other side. But you can tell where that came from. You know, the humans were being, like, screwed over by the dragons forever. Basically, forever. They were being screwed over. Of course the humans are going to treat dragons horribly, of course they're going to, like, kill them willy-nilly. Because the dragons were doing exactly the same thing to them. More so. The dragons were trying to keep them, like... They were trying to keep them in that state for a while, for forever. And so it's like both sides were terrible. But both sides were terrible because both sides suffered from what the other was doing. And to make it 1,000 times more complicated is that they can't leave the land. Okay, they can, but do they want to? Like
Insurance.
It does have ads.
We know it's more than just
It does have ads. And it's like, okay, technically they can leave. Technically the dragons... Hello? Technically the dragons can stay. I mean, can leave Natlan. Obviously, like, there's other dragons outside of Natlan, of course. But the thing is that, like, you know, Natlan was, like, their sanctuary. Natlan was, like, the last place that really belonged to them for a while. And so it's not like they can't leave. It's like, well, this was supposed to be our piece of land, right? And then there's the humans that thanks to Natlan's messed up ley lines. It's very similar. Like, humans technically can leave, but the problem with the Natlan people leaving is that if they do, it, like, messes up with their... I think it had to do with, like, their memories. Like, it completely ruins their memories. And so it's kind of sort of like, they don't die per se, but, like, them as a person, as who they are, is dead because they, like, their memories are all, like, messed up and stuff. Not only that, you're out in the desert too. You know, if the memories aren't going to kill you, the desert definitely is. And so, and especially in Natlan culture, where, you know, it's you know, very heavily based off of, like, Latino and African cultures. You know, a lot of these cultures take memory, legacy, family very, very seriously. And so, you know, so there's this culture that takes memory and legacy super, super seriously. I mean, you can leave, but do you want to? You know what I mean? Like, is it worth it when you don't even remember who you are? Cora says, I'm surprised that there wasn't much war strategy in the warring nation. Exactly. And that's something that kind of, like, I think back and I kind of realized that as well. And I'm like, yeah, there really isn't war. Like war. There's fighting, but there's not really war. And I'm not saying that Natlan should have been freaking all quiet on the Western Front or anything like that. You know, it wouldn't work so much for their inspiration either, because to my knowledge, the Aztecs didn't really have so much of a formal military. More so they had, like, factions or, like, groups of people who did the fighting, which, I mean, I guess that's the military, but it wasn't something that was, like, owned by the governing parties. So I'm not saying that Natlan should have been, like, all quiet on the Western Front or anything, but it should have definitely, like, you know, it's the nation of war. It should have had war stuff. You know? Complicated politics, too, like, because, honestly, war, like, half of war is politics. That's just the unfortunate truth. It's just the truth. Half of it is politics. Which, again, is why I think the lore just did it so... The actual, like, lore of Natlan just did it so well. And I've been drawing Robin's face for way too long. Oh, yeah, that's right. I've been drawing his face for way too long. Hold up. I need to lock in for, like, a hot minute so that I can finish his face, because I've been drawing it for too long. Let's move this down here. It's, like, up in his cheek, this one. And this one's down here. Okay. I will remove the I've mentioned this a few times, but I will remove the cross guard when I'm, like, done animating them. Cora says, it would have been cool if there could be talks of peace treaties, if it was a man versus man dragon rather than man versus nature. I think that's, yeah, like, I think that was the biggest problem of Natlan being the nation of war. It's the fact that the enemy is nature, it's not man. It's like, oh, but the dragons aren't man. Okay, yeah, but the dragons are clearly stand-ins for people. Like, yeah, the Saurians are more like animalistically, but like thematically, the dragons are stand-ins for people, you know. Yeah, because when they mentioned that Natlan was fighting the Abyss, like way back, like before before Natlan properly came out, I was kind of expecting the Abyss Order, because that would have made sense, because the Abyss Order are Conrians. They're people, you know? Like how a war is. And then somebody out there would tell me, like, but the Emu War was against flightless birds. And I'm like, no, it's called the Emu War because it was a dumb footnote in Australian history. The reason we slap in war for the emos. The reason we slap in war for the Emu War wasn't because it was an actual war, but because the situation was funny. So slapping in war just makes it even funnier. You know, the entire reason why the Emu War was funny is because they're fighting nature. They're fighting birds. Very, very beefy birds as well. Okay, I finished this. Sorry, kid, but I need to downsize you a little bit. You're a bit big. But again, the thing that frustrates me so much about Natlan is that all of my criticisms are literally solved in the lore itself. That's the part that frustrates me. That is the part that frustrates me. Because it proves to me that, like, these were things that the devs actually thought about. These were story elements that they thought about. And for some reason, they didn't put it in the main story. A part of me thinks that it's because emus are stacked. No, seriously, they are. It's kind of like a hippo. Okay, no, hippos are worse. Hippos are 1,000 times worse. But like, what I mean by hippos is that, like, they are such beefy animals that, like, a gunshot isn't going to do anything. Actually, a gunshot you're just making it angrier. You're just making it worse for yourself. Because hippos are funny. Hippos are funny. Hippos look like these... Hold up. Hippos look like these adorable little, like, fat little... Do their tails even look like that? No, they don't. Hippos look like these cute little, like, fat little creatures, right? They look like these cute little fat creatures, right? But that ain't fat, honey. Okay, it is fat, but it's a very thin layer of fat. Under the layer of fat, these people are like beefed, dude. Like, these people, like, with a hippo, that shit's like 90% muscle and like 2% fat. Like, that is fat, but it's a very thin layer of fat, and then everything else is just pure muscle. So, like, one little gunshot ain't gonna do anything. One little gunshot would just make it angrier. Hippos are scary. Also, have you seen the inside of a mouth of a hippo? Like, Alright. I need to map out your center. Okay, your shoulders are too big. Actually, I don't think we need that. Their jaw strength is crazy. Literally. And that's scary. But, where was I? Something. Oh, yeah. With the abyss being nature. Like, again, it's that same issue of them treating war as just fighting. It's that very same problem. You know what? Maybe that's the biggest problem Natlan has. And Natlan has a lot of problems. And again, I say this as somebody who likes it, okay? I'm saying this as someone who really does like it. Because, you know, unfortunately, a lot of these problems are problems that a lot of people like. Like, to a lot of people, it's like, oh, Natlan is, like, the absolute worst nation, and it sucks, and I don't like it, and just move to Snezhnaya, please. And I mean, it's not like that. To me, story-wise, the worst nation is Inazuma. And, you know, a lot of people love Inazuma. A lot of people love it. But, you know, they can also still admit that, like, writing-wise, Inazuma kind of sucked. You know? And it's, like, Inazuma, like, for a lot of people, is Natlan to me. It's like this region that I absolutely adore and found this new appreciation thanks to the Little One quests. But, you know, I will be the first to say, no, it's got a lot of problems. Like, and it's not just the unfortunate colorism. It's not just that. Because, I mean, I mentioned it in my video, but, like, if the writing and if the characters and if the themes were presented very, very well, I'm not saying that it's good, but I'm saying that a lot of people would have ignored some of the colorism, just like with Sumeru. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, you know, before Sumeru properly came out, oh my god, there was like a slew of YouTube videos absolutely hating it, calling it, like, Orientalists and all of that. I don't know if I would go that far, but at the same time, I'm not super, like, well-versed in it. Because I do know that there was, like, a hot moment where everybody was, like, hating on Nilou's design. You remember that, yeah. A lot of people were hating on Nilou's design, and they were calling it, like, Orientalist and racist and stuff. Now, again, this is just what I've heard, okay? I am not to speak on this. But I've heard that because she's very heavily based on Persian dancers, I've heard that apparently, like, actual Persians, I guess, or like people from that area said, like, no, Nilou's design is actually perfectly fine. And I saw the same thing with Tignari as well, that people thought Tignari's design was like odd, I guess. And then there were people saying, like, no, there's a lot of, like, genuine elements in his design. I didn't see a single person talk about Cyno's. But it's because Cyno is, like, so obviously based off of, well, Anubis, yes, but, like, his general, remove Cyno's hat. It's general, like, Egyptian pharaoh. You know what designs do bother me, though, in Sumeru? And everyone's gonna hate me for this, but I have reasons, okay? Hear me out. But I understand why they did this, so I can't, like, hate on it too much. Dea and Candace. And Cyno as well, technically, but I knew what they were doing with Cyno. Okay, hear me out, because people absolutely love their designs. And they are very pretty designs, okay? They are very, very pretty designs. Dea looks amazing. Her hair is kind of a mess, though. Candace is gorgeous. It's not their designs by themselves that bug me. No. It's the fact that they have a lot of skin exposed. And then you can tell me, oh, Pep, like, this is a gacha game, like, chill. And it's like, no, I get it, okay, I understand, alright, I get it. That's not my problem isn't the fact that they have exposed skin. That's not my issue, because then I would be hating on, like, every single female character in Genshin. It's the fact that they live in the desert. Hear me out. When you see Cyno for the very first time, not in Genshin proper, in the manga, or webcomic, or whatever you want to call it, Cyno is wearing, oh god, what are they called? I don't know what they're called, but it's like a cloak. He is wearing this, like, billowing cloak on top of everything, because that cloak was meant to cover you in the desert, and more especially keep you safe from the sand, because it's the desert and the sand is blowing everywhere, and the sand can get in like your eyes and stuff. That is an ad.
Just like when things are packed tidy and tight.
Right. It's because the thing that a lot of people don't know about the desert, and the only reason I know this was because of a storyboard that I did for school. For my animation class, I had this little like this boy character whose whole thing was that he was like a traveler and he travels around the world, and I wanted one little moment where he is traveling in the desert in Egypt, and I wanted his like clothes to change depending on like the areas that he's in. And so for the desert, my knee-jerk thought was, oh, give him tank top and shorts. That was my knee-jerk thought, to give him tank tops and shorts, because, when you think about when you think of the desert, you think it's really hot. And when you think really hot, you're not really going to think about covering up because it's like a bajillion degrees, right? If anything, you'll think the opposite. So my first instinct was to just draw him in shorts and a tank top. And then I actually paused and I was like, hold on a minute, is that actually the proper clothes to wear in the desert? Because when you think of actual people who are from desert areas, especially in North Africa, Middle East, they're not really, most of their bodies are covered up. And then I did some quick Googling, like, what are you supposed to wear in the desert? And the one constant, and it just isn't just like deserts in like Africa, it was also deserts in the US, like in Arizona. The one constant I kept seeing over and over and over again was to cover up. That was the one constant I kept seeing. And the reason why you need to cover up is because the sun is going to burn you alive. The desert is not tropical. The desert is dry. The desert is a toaster. It is an oven. Okay? Like, tropical heat is like a sauna. Desert heat is a goddamn oven. So when you see Sino for the first time in the manga, he is wearing this cloak thingy specifically made for the desert. I forgot what it was called, but it is this cloak that people wear in the desert to protect their skin from the sun and also from, like, sandstorms. And so, here are the only two other characters who are from the desert wearing freaking nothing, basically, like, being very exposed. And it's like, if it was tropical, there'd be more trees. Yeah, true. But I guess I mean like heat. Like there's tropical heat and there's like dry heat. There's desert heat. Desert is a dry heat. Actually, more on that. Like deserts get really cold at night. Like they actually can get so cold. People could get like, people could have heat strokes in the day and they could get like hypothermia at night. That's how cold deserts are. And the reason why deserts get so cold at night is because there is no moisture. Well, there is, but very minimal. There is so little moisture in the air. The moisture doesn't retain the heat. I didn't know that, but apparently the moisture in the air is what retains the heat. It's the humidity. It's the humidity. And because deserts are not humid, they do not retain the heat at night, which is one of the reasons why deserts actually get so cold. So, even more reason why you should cover up in desert areas. Even more reasons. Because, oh, you're sweating now, but you're gonna be shivering when the sun goes down. Anyway, that was an incredibly long-winded explanation as to why Dea's and Candace, and even Sino to like an extent, the reasons why their designs kind of bugged me. Because it really did feel like, Hoyo was just using the excuse of, oh, it's hot. Like, it's a warm place. To basically do fan service, right? And then here's me with my big brain. Here's me with my big brain being like, that is the absolute worst thing you could possibly wear. Like, they're burning. They're burning. The only reason I'm okay with Sino, the only reason why I'm not too, and I still am just a little bit bugged with Sino, but the only reason why Sinos doesn't bug me too much is, I already mentioned this, yes, he is based off Anubis, but also just generally, ignore the animal hat, generally, it's based off an Egyptian pharaoh and what an Egyptian pharaoh would wear. And let me just grab this. Let me just... Right, so Egyptian... Let's just get my little silhouette of a guy. Silhouette of a dude. And Egyptian pharaohs basically wore a skirt. And along with sandals, of course. Sino doesn't wear sandals. Homie's barefoot. Maybe, like, some decorations, like, on the arms, obviously, like, a necklace, but for reals, they're only really wearing a skirt, and of course they show that with Sino, because if you really think about it, Sino really is only wearing shorts, like, he ain't even wearing shoes. But see, here's the thing about the Egyptian pharaoh, like, oh, but Pep, didn't you say that the sun is going to burn them? Why are they only wearing a skirt? Well, it's really simple, because they have a palace. They're inside the palace. And even when they're like out, when they were like out on the boats, they almost always had something over them as shade, for the shade, you know? As opposed to the people who were toiling away working, the sun was constantly beaming down on them. And I'm not saying that people were covering themselves all the time in ancient Egypt, but I can imagine it would simply be a bit more practical to, like, wear something because you're out in the sun with everything beaming on you. What I'm trying to say, this is such a long-winded explanation, to say why Sino does bug me a little bit, but not that much. Also, it fits in Sino's lore, because Sino, he's from the desert, but he didn't grow up in the desert. He grew up in the rainforest. So he has some leeway. Some. And at the very least, he does canonically have the cloak thing. He does have at least that canonically. I don't know what my point for all of that was. I forgot what my exact point was, but it had to do with the fact that, oh, Sumeru and its backlash. Yeah. A lot of people saying that, like, Sumeru was super, like, very, like, stereotypical, very, like, orientalist, very, all of that. Cora says, does Sino live in a nice palace? I think they mention he was raised in the academia. They do mention that. So, I don't think he lived in the academia, but he clearly, like, lived, like, nearby it. So, you could say the academia was his palace. Rod the Dalmatian says, what are you talking about, lore? Yeah, I'm rambling about Genshin lore, more specifically Natlan lore, because it's my brain rot right now. It's the brain rot. And I have been stuck on this frame forever, and I seriously need to get moving on. I seriously need to move on. Okay, we're just gonna steal the head and the crossguard. The crossguard? What is the cross guidelines? The crossguard. Oh boy. Oh boy. Just plop these in here. Not a cyan, he's a green. Okay, these are the moments where I will need to... More like brain rot lore. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna squish up his cheeks a little bit, because he's like... I don't know, I need to squish up his cheeks a bit. Actually... you're gonna talk about Peter Pan? No? I don't know too much about Peter Pan, honestly. I only really know the... Steal his ears. I haven't even watched the... I think I watched the Disney movie once. When I was really little, and it wasn't necessarily me watching it. It was because, like, I was visiting my aunt's house, and she had it playing. Or maybe... No, I was going to say, maybe it was the Disney Channel playing it, but then I think about it, and I'm like, I don't know, man, there's a very specific scene that I don't think the Disney Channel would have wanted that to air. So it was probably, like, she genuinely had, like, the movie up, and so I was, like, kind of watching it, but not really. And that's it. And I've never actually, like, seen Peter Pan proper. I want to, though. I want to. And also it's sequel. I heard that it's, like, especially among Disney sequels, like, Return to Neverland's pretty good. How do you... In an anime style, how do you scrunch up a nose? I don't know if you even can. I don't know if you even can scrunch up a nose. Okay, I'm just steal these parts. Okay, oh yeah. Sumeru and that stuff. So, again, I can't talk too much about it, but I know with Sumeru, before it came out, you know, when, like, the character designs were leaked, a lot of people were saying, like, this is, like, stereotypical, this is, like, offensive, this is orientalist, stuff like that. And I'm not saying that none of it had any, like, merit. A lot of these criticisms are very, like, they are very valid. But I also saw, like, again, not that these criticisms aren't valid, but there was definitely this thing where some people were, there were some people from these cultures that were like, okay guys, chill, like, there is some, like, actual good representation here. Come on.
Eating in, both are rewarding with the American Express Gold Card. So are you in?
But yeah, like, apparently, like, there was a lot of people saying, like, no, there is, like, actual genuine, like, genuine, like, good representation in Sumeru. And you know, and although I am not part of, I'm not part of these cultures, just the music and the buildings, just those by themselves, like, made me go, oh, this is good. Like, Sumeru music, I think one of my friends said it the best. That, if Hoyo really did not care about Sumeru at all, if they really were as racist as a lot of people were saying, we would have gotten, like, shitty, like, Bollywood, like, type music. You know, we would have gotten the what is it, the Nokia ringtone? Hold on a sec, hold on. No, I need to show my point. Hold on a sec. Oh, that's just my default now. Okay. Hold up. I need a... Yes, I'm going this far just to make a joke. Just for a dumb joke. This right here. This right here. We would have gotten stuff like this. Like, if Hoyo really did not care, we would have been getting, like, shit like this. Okay? But we didn't. We didn't get stuff like this. And not only that, oh man, what was... The restaurant. I forgot. It's the main restaurant in Sumeru, and yeah, I'm gonna draw this out to prove my point, to show what I mean. With the restaurant, there was this, not gonna lie, that would have been so funny. But not only that, like, the main restaurant that you walk in there, like, they have pillars. Just hear me out here. They have these pillars, and not only do they have pillars, they have they have carpets. Like these squares are carpets with beautiful little like intricate patterns all lined up in a tile-like fashion with pillars in between. That right there, that's interior Middle Eastern design. These are designs that they use in mosques and in temples. And like, and I don't know if they use them for like recreational places like restaurants, but the fact that, you know, like they had this, you know, they had these like actual legit like architectural elements, but you still make it fit in the theme with dendro, and this is me trying to do a lotus flower, but still having like the basic theme of dendro. And so, I'm not saying that the criticisms towards Sumeru were not valid. They most definitely are. I remember when they were showing off the NPCs for the first time, I was like, they're a little white. They're a little pale. Sino is hella pale. Sino's super pale. Like, the only reason Sino looks tan is because everyone else is like sickly paper white. Everyone else looks like they have a severe vitamin deficiency. But my point with talking about Sumeru is that despite all of that, you know what, maybe I'll just I need to redraw these. Despite all of the criticisms, and again, very valid criticisms, that Sumeru had, when the actual nation came out, basically everyone had colorism at its finest. Yeah, unfortunately. But when the nation came out, basically everyone had the same but the same, like the general same opinion of everything in Sumeru is incredible. Its story, its music, its architecture, its vibe, its music, because I'll say that again, its music, hell, even the character designs to a level were really, really well done. They just made everyone pale as hell. But it was like, I think it's like, but it was because they did everything else so well that a lot of people, although again, like, they're valid criticisms and they're criticisms that 100% should be pointed out, but people were able to look past the criticisms, look past the colorism, and accept Sumeru for what it is, because aside from the colorism, a lot of it is incredible. And again, I'm not saying it's 100% perfect. I'm not someone who can really like mention that. You know, I studied a little bit of Islamic architecture in school. I studied a little bit of that, but I'm obviously not like super well versed in it or anything. I just remember when I saw the restaurant and I saw the carpets, the like tiled carpets with the pillars, I was like, oh my god, it's the thing, because I studied that in my class. But that is not how you draw a... I'm struggling so much. Hold on, I'm sorry, guys. I need to figure out these eyes. Okay. Oh, okay. That looks good. That looks good. Yeah, a lot of people were able to, like, somewhat look past all of this. But with Natlan, I like, because I don't think Natlan was able to hit in the same level of Sumeru, people never let the colorism go. People never let it go. And again, and I'm actually from these goddamn, and I'm actually from these cultures. Like, I'm not saying that the colorism criticisms is not valid. It is 1000% valid, because it's not only LATAM. It's not only LATAM. It's also, like, Polynesia, and it's also Africa. So, like the colorism is, like, 1,000 times worse. Because it's, like, 1,000 times worse with that one. But, like, I do genuinely believe that if Natlan was able to reach the level of Sumeru, I'm not saying that it would have been ignored, but it definitely would have been, like, people wouldn't be so up in arms about it. As opposed to how it ended up being, where there are, of course, there's a lot of people who love Natlan, of course. But there's also a lot of people who are like, worst nation, absolutely terrible, I hate this, it's racist, it's terrible, just move on to Snezhnaya. And yeah, and it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks for, like, people like me, because, like, you know, I should be the one who was, like, the most offended by Natlan, I guess, so to say. I should have been one of those people who were the most offended by it. And again, I'm not saying Natlan doesn't have problems. It was like 12 minutes of my goddamn video. I'm not saying Natlan doesn't have any problems, but honestly, I think a part of it is the fact that they even touched on LATAM at all for Fantasy World. And let me tell you, like, when I saw the tatacos, just hear me out. When I saw the tatacos, okay, when I saw the grain fruit, which is like giant corn, I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, I looked at that and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Oh my god. The grain fruit is like, it's like giant ass corn that goes up to like, I love it. It's so silly. It's so stupid, and it made me giggle. And the fact that, like, the grain fruit is like the base food of Natlan, because that's what corn is, and I love it. I loved it. Red the Dalmatian says, wow, grapefruit is the giant corn. Well, it's called grain fruit, because they're grains. Grain fruit is what they called it. And I think it's just, like, when I first saw it in game, I literally started laughing. Not in the sense of, like, oh, this is stupid, but in the, like, I love this. It's so silly. Like, it is silly. It is kind of dumb, but it's silly, and I loved it. You know what you know what they should have had, though? Although, Fontaine didn't have baguettes. There was no tamales. There was no tamales. Or wait, is there? Hold on, hold up. Hold up, actually, I'm curious now. Okay, what if I just stop animating for a hot second? Oh, hi, I have this in case I, like, start animating, Guy of Gisborne. Hold on for a second. That is not how you spell food. Hold on a sec. I need to know this. Guys. Okay. Okay, grain fruit bars. Is that like veggie straws? What is this? Oh yeah, I'm using an ad blocker. I'm sorry, guys. What is this? Is this chocolate? Is this chocolate? It is! This is chocolate! This is 1000% chocolate. Hold on, what is this? This is 1000% chocolate, isn't it? It is! It's chocolate! Hold on. I'm having a moment, guys. I'm having a moment. It is chocolate! Maybe we should turn off this ad blocker. It's so annoying when the thing pops up. That is adorable. I love that. Okay, we have chocolate. Chocowaddle. Is that what it's called? Chocowaddle? Cacahuatil. Go back. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, it's fruits. Hold on a second. Yeah, fruits aplenty. It's also with grain fruit, of course. Saurian crackers, cute. Sour sauce, what is this? What is this? I see limes. What is this? Raw pieces of fish with a fruity fragrance. The fish, which must be fresh, is first skinned and cut into thick chunks, then marinated in the sour sauce. Get out of here. Marinated in the sour sauce while shredded vegetables are added for seasoning, a combination of sour and spicy flavors. Alright. There's fish with vegetables. Magma eggs. To tacos, of course. Strength tonic. What is this?
Hot take. Vaping does not help with my stress. I have friends who are attacked.
It's not a hot
to
take.
vaping.
I think it's like actually
Anytime I
proven
vape,
that it's
literally
terrible.
made me feel way worse, more intense, more stressed. How does that help? Learn
Oh my god, hurry up. Come on.
With Asana,
Ah!
mates can help
If not,
set
I'll
their
switch to the
goals
Genshin music
by
again.
connecting them to relevant projects.
Okay, what is the strength
So every
tonic?
team knows their role in the bigger picture.
I'll just have to
Asana,
ignore it.
the #1 AI
A
work
potion
management
made
platform.
from
Try it
mysterious
for free today
origins
at
that has a
asana.com.
simple formula. Get out. That has a simple formula. Some might even call it a healthy drink. As the name suggests, it can make people stronger. Oh, okay, so it's like a mystery. All right. Oh, there's so much more. There's so much more. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not animating anymore. I'm just looking at stuff. Okay, beef heart skewers. I mean, I don't even know why I clicked that. It's just beef. It's just beef. Yep. Wait, they're cows? Where are the cows? Where are the cows in Genshin? Of course, chocolate. Like chocolate. Like proper chocolate. Hell yeah. You know, it was the food of the gods. You know. It was the food of the gods to my ancestors. Beautiful. A cup of grain fruit. Already saw this. Forest of colors. I'm seeing if there's like tamales or like an offshoot of tamales, like something that's so obviously meant to be. Okay, that's a salad. A salad made from fresh vegetables. Blanch the grain fruit. Chop. Yep, that's definitely 1000% a. Get out of here. A salad. This is gonna sound so stupid. I love the cultural commitment to the very thick pieces of onion. I love the cultural commitment to the very thick pieces of onion, that if you're not an onion lover, well, fuck you, because that's the salad you're gonna eat. Love it. Oh my god. It's great. Even the limes. Nah, cause we eat hella limes. Well, not the lime itself, but like lime juice. Fried shrimp bean balls. That sounds good, actually. Alright, through sauce and... Alright. Fruits aplenty. I have an inkling as to what food this is referencing, but onions are peak vegetables. They kind of are, honestly. Like, no, like, seriously, I don't hate onions. I eat onions fine. But, like, when it comes to cooking, like, just cooking, onions give so much flavor to the dish itself. It's like, whenever people are like, oh, I don't like onions, they don't taste good. It's like, yeah, it's because you're eating the raw onion by itself. But, like, if you know how to cook an onion, or how to use an onion so that you can use that flavor effectively, bro, it seriously enhances the food. Let's see, freshened fruits and flavorful fruit juice made from a variety of ingredients. It's invigorating, healthy, collective of plenty. Okay, I think I might know what this is referencing, but at the same time, it's also just fruit juice, so I think I might be stretching it. Glittering gemstones. Sauteed onions are so good. They are. What's this? Oh, they're just biscuits. Okay, they're just cookies. Grapefruit chips. Hell yeah. Ah, that's amazing. Crispy triangular chips after being scooped out of the oil-filled pots. Ah, thus a hearty breakfast. Wait. Thus a hearty Natlan breakfast born. It's just nachos. I love it. That's beautiful. I love that. I love that. Is this caldo? Well, there's no chicken in there. But, no, I remember I've seen that, dude. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And there's meat and the only thing... Oh, wait, no, it does have meat. What am I talking about? Does it specify the meat? No, it doesn't. Okay. That's beautiful. I love that. And again, with the lime. There's no tortillas, is there? Well, I mean, okay, they have the tacos, so they do have tortillas. Yes! Yes, they do! Yes! Sorry. They do! They have tamales! Get out of here! They do! I need water after that. Grapefruit wrap, that's what they're called. Hell yeah. Okay, is it the simple food, big leaves? There's a simple saying and a leaf to wrap your grapefruit will always... Okay, so it doesn't specify the exact type of tamal, but it's tamales. Do they have an horchata equivalent? Oh my god. They better. How do you make these? I need the recipe. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's tamales, baby. Okay, I'm happy now. They did the one thing that they didn't want to give to Fontaine, and that was the baguette. But I have my tamal. Oh my god, that's beautiful. Like, I ain't even animating anymore. I'm just looking at their foods. Alright, what's this? Grilled fish? I mean, yeah, I don't know what else to say. That's grilled fish with some chimol. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's just fish. Harvest spoon. Ah, cute. Let's see. Held together by humble grapefruit, minced meat, stir-fried into a pan, large chunks of meat and eggs. The whole thing is covered up with a layer of mashed grapefruit and break down until... Okay, nothing that I, like, recognize completely. Hot Springs O'Clock. A pizza! Made using grapefruit. Alright. Scattered across the crust before a thick layer of cheese is poured on top. And then the whole thing is delivered into the oven. The final touch is then to draw a little coleslaw. That's cute. That's really cute. Magma eggs. Is it like deviled eggs? Okay, a jet black egg formed by absorbing the essence of the flame and rock. Despite its obsidian appearance, it tastes just like a regular boiled egg. Unless, of course, one were to go out of their way to cook it in an irregular fashion. No, okay, I was wondering if there was something silly with the magmic ode. No, these are oysters. Oysters? Yeah. Mystic soup. This is like really sussy soup. What is this? A drink made from grapefruit, as everything, originally invented as a type of medicine by certain shamans of Master of the Night Wind. The recipe has been altered with the passage of time, and it is now a common drink at social gatherings. Well, it says it's a soup, but it is a drink. I think I know what it might be referencing, but I don't think the reference is strong enough for me to make a case. Puff Pops. No, it's like a snack. It's like candy? It's like candy, I think. No! Oh yeah, this is the one that looks like... this one looks like those like veggie straws. Sing your heart out. I'm just looking at all of the food, guys. Let's see. What is this? cool flavor throat. What is that? What is this? Oh. Oh, okay. Wait. Okay, so it's cough. It's cough drops. It's cough drops. Okay, said to be the Flower Feather Clan's secret weapon for soothing their throats. Okay, so these are cough drops. Strength tonic, stuffed in mashed potatoes. Looks pretty good. An exquisitely colorful dish. Mash the potatoes into a fine, creamy state. Get out of here. Add various fillings in the middle. Then finally, drizzle with sauce. Just like, and then make into a cake with other stuff. Nice, nice. Of course, that's the tacos, obviously. Volcano cake. I mean, I don't know. It's just a cake in the shape of a volcano. I don't even know what it was. Wait. A volcano-shaped cake. The ingredients are mixed together, stirred into a thick paste, then poured into a mold for baking. Leave. Into a mold for baking. Timing it to perfection allows the outer layer to solidify, while the filling remains soft and gooey. Okay. It's probably not what I thought it was. Because I had a thought as to what... No, okay, because with some of these foods, I think I know what they're referencing, but I'm not completely sure. Because, you know, Natlan, although Natlan is mostly Latin America, there's obviously, you know, like Polynesia and Africa. And so with some of these foods, I'm like, is it what I think it is? Or is it referencing another food? No, okay, so for this one, what I think it was probably referencing is this, not flank, just flan. Which is, it's not a cake, it's, wait, really? That's what it's called? I don't know, I call it flan. Everyone in my family calls it flan. But it's like, it's not really a cake, because it's not really bread. I actually don't know what it is. But it's this very gooey, not gooey, wet. It's, no, okay, I'm trying to find a best way to describe it. All of this sounds gross. Hold on, I need to find a way to, like, properly describe what this is. It's not a bread. It might be a bread. Yes, it's like a pudding. Yes, yeah, it's kind of like a pudding. Yes, it's like that. It's kind of like a pudding, but it's, like, solid. And they usually drizzle it with, like, a syrup, because the flan itself isn't that sweet. It's only really sweet with the syrup. It's that. It's a kind of dessert. Yeah. And so my very first thought was like, oh, this is just a cake. And then I was like, hold on a second, but could it possibly, just maybe, could it be what I think it is? I don't think so. I don't think it's that, but I had that inkling. The other one I had was with the mystic soup, where they mention that this soup is made, well, it's a drink that's made from grapefruit, and that it's just like, that it's a common drink amongst the people. And so, again, like, one of my thoughts was that it was referencing atol, which is a, yeah, I mean, it says it right there. Thank you, AI. It would need to be more yellow. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Atol is a traditional Mexican, or just like Mesoamerican, corn-based beverage. It's not just corn, honestly. You can use it with, like, any kind of grain. Like, you can make it with like, rice, with, like, oatmeal, with stuff like that. It's mostly corn, of course, because of corn, but it could basically be used with any kind of grain. And although the atol, well, if it's atol, which I'm pretty sure it is, since it's made of grapefruit, if it is, even though it's purple, like, people make, like, pink atol. Where's the pink one? Pink. I have no idea if it's just, like, yeah, this thing, yeah. This, it's like a powder, so I guess it's not, like, even real atol, but it's supposed to give off the flavor of it, and you can make it pink. So the fact that it's purple is not out of the realm of possibility. Actually, now that I think about it, I think this might actually be a reference to atol, but I'm not completely sure. Alright, I was distracted. Okay. I'm so sorry, guys. We're back to animating, I swear. Okay, let's get back to animating. Actually, no, we'll do him later. Yeah, we need the hat. We'll get the hat back. And actually, I would like for this to be, like, the feather to lift up a little bit. I'm not gonna copy paste the hair because I want the hair to have, like, that little Ghibli effect where it, like, raises up a little bit. I was thinking Jamaica drink. It could be that too. Or no, but my very first thought was like, oh, it's a drink made from green fruit. Then again, it didn't say it was warm, did it? Does it have to? I don't know. Because I thought it's warm, or at least you're supposed to drink it warm. Oh boy. Okay. We need to get back to animating. I forgot what my point even was talking about food. I don't know. I guess my point was the fact that, like, the few times Natlan had something, I was like, oh, this is beautiful. I love this. Oh my god. Like, down to the silly Saurian hats, too. Because, like, when I first saw the Saurian hats, I'm gonna be honest, I thought they were really dumb looking. I thought they were really stupid looking. And then it suddenly dawned on me. And when I mean dawned on me, I mean, like, months later. Because I saw the stupid animal hats, and I'm like, that looks so dumb, especially for the Nation of War. And then I thunk about it for, like, a little bit. And then I suddenly remembered, oh yeah, the eagle and jaguar warriors from the Aztec Empire, where being one was seen as, well, it was a very high position in the, not military, but in the, like, fighter group that you were in. I don't know, it was a little too loud. No, like, seriously, like, being, like, an eagle warrior or a dragon warrior, being an eagle or a jaguar warrior was, like, big deal. It was a high prestige, it was a very prestigious position. And one way to identify your position was by your outfit. Specifically your helmet. You know, shocker, eagle warriors wore helmets that were in the shape of eagle heads, and same with the jaguars, it was in the shape of the jaguar head. Not only that, there was also, like, the outfit that you would wear. Like, for the eagle ones, the outfit that you would wear would be, like, decked out in feathers. And for the jaguars, the outfit you would wear would have, like, patterns reminiscent to that of a jaguar. And so it kind of sort of dawned on me that, like, wait, these, like, stupid little Saurian hats are probably a reference to that. And here I was being like, oh, it looks so dumb, it looks so silly, especially for the Nation of War. And then it dawned on me that it was like, wait, no, actually there's actually that's really smart. It's like, actually it's really smart. Like, the reasons they used jaguars and eagles specifically was because they were very sacred animals. And for Natlan, that would be the Saurians. So, like, no duh, they would be wearing animal hats in the shape of Saurians. Like, that just makes sense. It's like, oh, it's like the, they actually had something, like, legit and cultural. And then here's me being like, that looks dumb. And, you know, sometimes ever since I realized that, ever since I noticed that, it kind of made me think of, like, what other things in Natlan were people just absolutely shitting on, but actually, like they had something, like there was something there. Like, it wasn't just it wasn't just hoyovers, like, bullshitting, like, they actually had, like, legit, like, something, I don't know. I'm gonna copy his. Do I need to copy his neck? I don't know if I want to copy his neck. Not yet. Okay, but I can lift up his bangs. Okay. I forgot maybe I should.
Now we gotta go help people customize and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual.
So with the emu,
Maybe where's the golf cart?
there he is. I
There
love
it
him.
is. Only pay for what you need.
Ah, it's out of 2 ads. Okay, but what if I... I am so close to just going back to the Genshin music. Okay. Because, like, I'm squishing his cheeks. I'm gonna lift up this a little more. Cora says, I'm pretty sure that the rancho or cowboy culture influences one of the characters' design. Yes. I'm pretty sure you're thinking about, well, I guess that's the Flower Feather clan in general, but Chaska. And I guess Aoife as well. He's like the new character that came out. I guess Aoife as well, but I think Chaska specifically. Oh my god, dude, the mess with Chaska's design. God, okay. let me ramble about that for a hot minute. Oh wait, actually, first. Let me, do I put where? Do I put his eyelids? Nah. Hold on for a sec. Let me actually put his, like, where his face would be. Down, and more like, guess like here. Okay. And actually, no, I need to move him. Move a bit more this way. Yeah, her. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, so, oh man, I remember when their designs first came out. Right. Now look, personally, generally, with Chaska's general design, general, like overall, like, look of her outfit, it's kind of dumb, okay? Specifically the pant leg. The pant leg looks stupid. I'm sorry, it does, okay? It looks really dumb. Okay, it looks really, really dumb, the pant leg. I don't like it. Okay, so I am saying this in the perspective of someone who isn't, like, the biggest fan of Chaska's design, okay? I'm not, like, the biggest fan of it. And obviously the fact that, she a bit, pale. But, so I am saying this in perspective of someone who isn't, like, super big on Chaska's design. When her design was first shown, and people were calling her a conquistador, okay. Actually, not only that, it's just like, and I think I mentioned this in another stream, but, like, one thing that did frustrate me was that, like, and of course this is to people who I think are, like, they're trying to be nice, okay? Like, they're trying to be, like, respectful to these cultures. I do get that. I do understand that. But it also feels like you're just, like, not fully understanding things, I guess. Because for a hot minute, and again, these are very specific people. These are not, like, everybody, of course. There were a lot of people that just the thought of anything Spanish in Natlan, like, these people would be livid at the fact of anything Spanish being in there, which I kind of thought was a bit weird. Okay, so let's ignore the cultural stuff for now. Let's ignore that. Genshin, in and of itself. The very first info we have of Natlan is from the manga. Cora says, do they not know what conquistadors dress like? I think it was, like, this is just me thinking. I think it had to do with the hat. And I think that's it. Like, and I'm saying like a lot. I'm saying like way too much. Oh god, yeah, people would be absolutely livid about that. And one of the first things you ever hear about Natlan in the manga, in the webcomic, in the whatever, in the comic thing that they made way before the game came out. It was like back in 2018 too. So it was like a good like 2 years before the game came out. The only two Natlan characters we knew, because it was the lore, was Vanessa in Mondstadt, and her sister, whose, I think her full name is Linda. So it's Vanessa and Linda. Vanessa is a very common name in, or at least to me, at least in my circle, it's really, really common, like, as a Hispanic name. And Linda, I don't know if it's that common, but I do know, like, a good chunk of Lindas. So in my brain, it's pretty common. But here's the thing, they're not Mesoamerican names. They're not native names. They are very, very clearly Spanish. They're very clearly Spanish names. That's number one. Number two, Epic Dude says hello. Hi, welcome. Welcome to the stream. What is this? I'm animating? And I'm rambling about Genshin Impact lore. That's what we're doing. I shot myself, by the way. Nice. Dar. Yeah. Yeah. But my brain just died. Hold on a second. That's number one. Number two, in the Travail trailer. Like in that old trailer everyone keeps going back to with Dainsleif, when you see Jansen for the first time, the music that you're hearing is very clearly like, I'm not gonna say it is flamingo music, but it's very clearly like based off of that. You have the little like and you have like the guitar and just the melody, the dun 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 dun. You know, it's very different from like the general Natlan music that we have now, which is a lot more like African based. It like what I'm saying is that it was very, very clear from before the game even came out that there was, albeit very minimally, going to be some Spanish elements. And so I thought it was really weird that people were just absolutely livid at the thought of anything vaguely Spanish in Natlan. And I thought that was like, and again, I understand why. I understand why people thought that way. Because, you know, Natlan's very clearly was focusing more so on Mesoamerica. But, I mean, at least to me, it was clear that although Mesoamerica was going to be the main focus, there was still going to be a lot of general Latin America in their period. And here's the thing, and it's just kind of the fact of life. When you are controlled, I guess, by a culture. No, okay, actually, yeah, more or less, yeah. Hold up, I was like thinking back, like, just how long the colonization actually was. Actually, it's like a good, geez, it's a long time, actually. It's a very long time. When you have to live with another culture for 400 years, that is your culture. There is going to be a point where that does become your culture. You know what I mean? It's like, I think I have a pretty good example of this. Horchata, which everybody thinks and sees as a Latino Mexican drink. Oh no! Stop! You're ruining my point. Get out! Leave. You know what? No, screw you. We're doing Genshin music now. Okay. I'm so sorry. With horchata, everybody sees horchata as a Hispanic Latino drink. Everybody sees horchata as a Mexican drink. Horchata does not come, it's not native to these regions. Horchata comes from the north of Africa. And it was introduced to the Spanish. And the Spanish brought it here. And yet, to say that horchata is not a cultural food, that's kind of an insane thing to think. Horchata is very cultural, right? Atol, on the other hand, atol is a cultural food. Atol does come from Mesoamerica. That is a cultural, like, okay, not cultural. I mean, they're both cultural. Atol is what people think horchata is. Cora says gasp. Yeah, no, horchata is not from these areas. Horchata came from the other side of the ocean. You know, bullfighting, which is very big in Latin American cultures, bullfighting came from Europe. It touched the Spanish, and the Spanish brought it over here. The music, Hispanic music, is, well, it's also a mix of African music, but it's very, very heavily based off of the Spanish. But am I going to call a mariachi band, like, am I going to call them, like, conquistadors? The mariachi outfits! Bullfighting outfits, but the mariachi outfits is very Spanish. It's very, very Spanish. Obviously with a couple of differences here and there, but it's very Spanish. Goddamn, our language, bro! Like, our language, bro! You know, hablo el español. El español latinoamericana. No es castellano, pero aún es español. With a very, very heavy American accent, but still. Like, hell, even Spanish. And what? Am I going to say, like, oh, like, the Spanish language is a conquistador language? I mean, yes, factually, historically, it is. But it is very cultural to these places, you know? Epic Dude says, Peppermint, I am subbed. Thank you. And I'm getting so distracted, oh my god. And so, like, but here's the thing, you know, like, am I going to call bullfighting, like, am I going to call bullfighting offensive because it came from the Spanish? Am I going to call, like, the mariachi outfits offensive? It's like, no, because they are part of the culture. It's like, oh, are they from the conquistadors? Well, yeah, historically, yes. Factually, yes. Same with the language. Factually, yes. But the thing is like, when these elements are in this region for 400 years of colonization, and not just that, okay, like, they freed themselves from the Spanish in the 1800s. All right, so then there's 1800s, and then there's 1900s. That bumps up to like 600 years. When you have Spanish elements in your region for 600 years, do people realize how long that is? Do people really realize how long that is? That is, like, more than double the length that the United States of America has existed. That is our culture now. Did it come from a dark place? Yes. But that is our culture now. And so to me, it was weird, I guess, seeing people get so livid at Spanish elements when it was, like, first of all, always there from the start. Again, like, Vanessa is a Spanish name. Okay, I don't know if it's Spanish, like it's a specifically, like, from Spanish name, but like it's generally, like, very common in Spanish speaking places. And I don't know, it was just kind of weird. Especially for me, you know, who's, like, you know, not only from these cultures, but, like, bit of peppermint lore here. Not only do I speak Spanish, because duh, but my grandfather was part of a mariachi band. So, you know, from a very young age, I was, you know, like, oh man, like, my parents would put on, I don't think they would, like, actually watch it, though. I think they would just put it on as background noise. My parents would put on, like, bullfighting. Which, you know, that I think about it, for, like, a little kid, it's kind of a weird thing to watch, but I don't know, I guess some parents let their kids watch, like, NASCAR. But I'm Cora says, it was mainly people who weren't Mexican and any inkling getting riled up. Yeah, I know it was mostly that. Like, it's one of those weird things that, like, you can tell that these people aren't that close to the culture. And of course, there's always that one person who's like, oh, I'm Latino and I still think X, Y, and Z. And I think these two things. I think either you are very removed from the culture, or you have a general, I don't know, I guess like a negative view of it, I guess. And it's a weird thing because it's like, it's not a good thing to ignore what happened in history because, yeah, we speak Spanish, but we speak Spanish for a very unfortunate reason. Like the history of us speaking Spanish is very brutal and very terrible. And it's not something that we should ignore. But the fact is that it's as I mentioned, when something is a part of your life for hundreds of years, like there's a point where it's yours now, I think. There's a point where you can claim that. You can claim that, man. Like if you live in the US, when you think of someone speaking Spanish, you're gonna think of like a Mexican. You're not gonna think of a Spaniard. It's probably different in Europe, obviously, but in the US, that's probably the first thing that's gonna like come to mind. But yeah. So with Chaska, because that's where I was starting with. So with Chaska, a lot of people were being like, oh, her design is like offensive because it looks like a conquistador, which it does not. Like, chill. Not really. And again, you could be like, oh, but like the hat, I guess, like the cowboy hat. And it's like, okay. Like, you're not gonna say that if there was a character based off of a mariachi band. No, like if there's a mariachi character who uses the giant guitars as a greatsword, which I would freaking love that. Genshin, please have that. I would love that, honestly. Like if they had that, I'm not going, like chances are I'm not going to see a single person say like, oh, this is offensive, even though the general aesthetic of the mariachi player is very Spanish. Again, there's obviously some Latino like elements in there, but like the general style, you know. But I'm not gonna see that. I'm not gonna see that. Or maybe I will. I don't know. It was weird. It was very weird, and then it just made it all the more weirder. I guess complicated-er, when, you know, people actually started to really look at the cultural elements of Chaska's design and found out that, well, it was very clear that she was based off a cowboy. And then a lot of people were like, oh, that's so, like, offensive, question mark? Because I think people were also saying that her looking like a cowboy was offensive, which, again, I thought that was weird, because it's like, cowboy culture came, well, okay, the stereotypical cowboy culture that we think of. It's a bit too low, the music, actually. I'm gonna bump it up a little bit. The stereotypical cowboy culture that we think of from, like, westerns and stuff. Like, westerns and ghost towns and the gold rush and all that. Like, the stereotypical cowboy culture that we tend to think of came from Mexico. It came from Mexico. And the Americans, when they moved west and also took Mexico's land, you know, they spent a lot of time with Mexicans and began to adopt some of their, like, styles and mannerisms, and then we got, like, you know, what is stereotypically the cowboy culture. And so I also thought it was weird that people were, like, hating on the cowboyness of her, because it's like, no, it originates from Mexico. Like, what? And then it gets even more funny when, because what I thought was a little weird was the fact that Chaska's name is Incan, as in South America, and I was like, oh, it's kind of funny how they have like a South American name, and yet they're using cowboys, which are from Mexico, because my dumb brain didn't think, oh, well, I guess a cowboy is just kind of somebody who takes care of cows, so they technically exist everywhere where there are cows. And, okay, is the music too loud? I think the music might be too loud. Trying to find, like, a good spot for it. I don't know. And it got a little sillier when I found out that, like, she is more specifically based off of Argentinian/Peruvian cowboys, which, you know, fits a lot more with South America, which, a bit pale for a South American, but, like, whatever. And then after that, like, I just actually, like, I still think her design is dumb, more specifically the pants. I think the pants are stupid, okay? I'm sorry, it's the truth, okay? But, like, even then, after that, I started to gain, like, a much bigger appreciation for her design. Because it's like those little elements. It's like the braids, the little, like, braided cords she has on, the patterns, the color schemes, the hat. She doesn't have a poncho, but there's a thing that kind of slightly, if you really squint, alludes to a poncho. Although she really should actually have one. Like, just cut it up a little bit and it would look so cool. Like, I gained a much bigger appreciation for her design. Again, do I think that she's, like, the best designed Genshin character ever? Like, no, I'm not. I'm not super big on Chaska's design. But I was still able to gain an appreciation for it. But I will say, even before that, I never thought it was offensive. Ever. And I thought it was weird that people were seeing it that way. I don't know. It's I don't know, it's a complicated thing, I guess. But, like, I don't know, I guess, like, what I'm trying to say with this entire thing is the fact that, Hispanic cultures are almost never used in fantasy. And I think because it's so rarely seen in fantasy. You know, it's the same with Sumeru with the Middle East. You know, people are very, very, very careful with, you know, like, representing the cultures. And again, that's a good thing. That is a very good thing. But, you know, when I saw a lot of the arguments with Sumeru, right? Like, I had an idea of people, an idea of what people were talking about on both sides, like, both the people saying, like, this X, Y, and Z is offensive, and then other people being, like, not necessarily, but with Natlan is, like, I think it was, like, the first time that I truly felt that. I think it was the first time that I truly felt people being not only careful about Latin American cultures, but careful to a point that it accidentally felt... It just felt weird, you know? And it's like, in trying to help... Oh, I'm blowing in the mic too much. In trying to help, you end up just making it weird, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Just kind of making it weird. Misty says, Natlan OMG... Oh, Nat Ian. OMG, what'd he do? Gasp, gasp, gasp. What? Wait, are you talking about, like, the animation I'm working on, or the title? But yeah, it was a whole thing. That was a whole thing. Those are my, I guess, thoughts on, I guess, like, the cultural inspirations of Natlan. It's like, and I feel like I do need to say this every single time I mention this, but, like, I'm not saying that Natlan portrayed these cultures that well or perfectly or anything. Hell no, they didn't. Again, that was like the first 12 minutes of my goddamn video. Heck no, they did not. But like it again, let's like, if you take the colorism out of the equation, I think it was very similar, not very, but it was somewhere around the lines of like Sumeru, that like if you remove the colorism, which again is does deserve the criticism, if you remove the colorism, personally, at least with the Latin American side, I think it did a pretty decent job. I think it did a very decent job. And sometimes, this is just a theory, this is just like the tiniest theory, although I don't even believe fully in my own theory, but the Collective of Plenty being the very last tribe to be released, which has a very strong Spanish vibe, with the fact that, you know, their Saurians are very clearly based off a bull, Varessa's name in general, Varessa herself being based off a Spanish fighting bull. The music? Oh my god, the music! Ugh! The Collective of Plenty music is beautiful. Goddamn. But the music having a completely different vibe. Like, all of Natlan has a very, very strong leaning towards African music, which is amazing. Like, again, Natlan music is, love it. But the Collective of Plenty music, bro, when I heard that, like, Spanish vibe, I was like, oh my god. And I loved it a lot. And I have like a teeny tiny little baby inkling. Again, I don't even fully believe in my own theory. It's just like a little crack theory that I have. But sometimes I get the vibe that the Collective of Plenty, or which has these Spanish elements, was the last of the tribes to be released, probably because of that backlash. Which is, again, is like, I can't fully articulate how odd that feels, because it's like, it's like, no, in a weird, ironic sense, you're being more culturally accurate? You know what I mean? Cora says, it was fine, it could have been slightly better. Oh yeah, 1,000%, 100%. It could have been done 1,000 times better, but I don't think it was as bad. Again, remove the colorism. I don't think it was as bad as people say it was. I really do not. Like, I gained a new appreciation on Chaska's design, or, I gained a new appreciation for Chaska's design when I learned about, the Argentinian cowboys, and, you know, the patterns in her outfit, and the patterns in her outfit, and the braided cords that she has, and the colors, like the color scheme of her, like, all of that gave me like a brand new appreciation, again, to a design that I'm not even like fully into. Sitlali, oh my god, Sitlali's design, also surprised me quite a lot on how cultural it was. Okay, first of all, Sitlali is the only one actually wearing like a proper skirt. She's like the only one actually wearing a proper skirt, which is the traditional dress of Aztec women. So that's number one. I do think her shirt thingy is weird. Like, I still think it's weird, her shirt thingy. Her little, like, hair pieces, I guess, are like obsidian mirrors, which was like an actual thing like people used back then. And like, I don't know, it's just those like, it's those like little elements, it's like those little elements about her. Shilonen's like the gems that she has, which is mostly jade and gold, were mostly used by Aztec like nobility. It's like there's stuff there. There's actual genuine effort put into a lot of areas. I already mentioned about the Saurian hats, the silly little animal hats that when I first saw them I thought they were kind of dumb, and then I suddenly remembered, like, oh wait, they are most likely, actually not even, they're probably definitely a reference to like Jaguar warriors. Which, again, it's something that just like looks silly, but it's like an actual like legit cultural thing. And so, like, again, like, it 1,000% could have been better, but it wasn't as bad as people say it is. It really wasn't. It really isn't. It really isn't. Like, just the fact that Sitlali Which, like, when I first saw Citlali's design, I was not into it. I'm still not fully into her design. I like her. Mostly because I think she's one of Natlan's best written characters, I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, her story, like, genuinely surprised me by how much it, like, made me emotional. But I'm still not fully into her design. But I remember, like, when I first saw it, I'm gonna be honest, I did not like it at all. I did not like her design, like, in the slightest. And I still think her design's a little odd. I still think that. Specifically, her, like, shirt thing. But, like... But there is stuff in there. There's, like, actual stuff in there. Chorus says, sometimes the culturally accurate thing is very silly. Yeah, no, it is. And I think a part of it is because, like, we don't see it that often. Like, when we think of animal hats, we think of it as something absolutely silly. When to these people, in real life, I mean, they weren't hats, they were helmets. But to these people, in real life, no, these animal helmets were not only sacred, but they were a show of status. They were important. These were, like, very special things for their society. It was taken seriously, is what I'm trying to say. Like, to us, it looks silly. And it probably just, yeah. To us, it looks silly because we're not accustomed to that. And so, you know, you see the silly Saurian hats in Genshin, and you just think that looks super silly, and then you actually think about it, and you're like, wait, no, this makes sense. This actually makes complete sense. This is, like, an actual cultural thing, but nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. They just see the silly. And I can't even hate on these people because I was one of them. But no, like, with Citlali's design, like, I thought it was weird, and, well, not weird, but I thought it looked kind of dumb. And I'm still not super into her design. Not super into it still. But she's the only character who's, like, she's, like, the only character that's silhouette-wise, she's the only one who's wearing, like, the traditional Aztec outfit for women. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, yeah. I got nothing for Movika's design, though. I'm sorry. Like, I got nothing for her design. I still got nothing. Like, the only cultural thing that I see in her design, if I am wrong, please correct me, but the only thing I see in her design is just sun motif. And it's like, okay, yes, we get it, sun. I get it, like, the Incas worshipped the god of the sun. Cool. Is there anything else in her design? Anything else? No? Oh, okay. No, they had something there. And I'm struggling with his eyes. See, they had something, with, like, ignoring the sun motif, because I feel like with Movika, they use the sun motif way too often. But ignoring that, like, I don't know, I liked her red hair, I loved the sun in the eyes, the giant hoop earrings, ooh, I loved that. But, like, everything else was just kind of like, okay, like, please give me something else. Please give me an outfit that makes sense on her, goddamn. Leather, literally, okay, I'm sorry if I blew the mic there. Leather, literally, I even mentioned that in my video. Why are you wearing leather? Why are you doing that? That looks like hell. That feels like hell. I get that you're the god of the sun, but that feels like hell. Y'all need to understand, not that Latam doesn't get cool, because it does, depending on where you are. Especially if you live in the mountains, that place gets cool. But 90% of the time, God forbid it's noon, where the sun is the highest in the sky, 90% of the time, you are melting, okay? It's not Sumeru. It's not the desert. It's not a dry heat. That shit's tropical, okay? You are gasping for air in the vapor-filled air. You are gasping for air because there's just so much vapor, okay? You are melting. You are wearing short shorts and a tank top, and it still doesn't feel like that's enough. You feel like you're in a sauna. When it is noon, it gets so hot. Nobody's at work. Nobody's at school. Everyone is just sitting there waiting for the sun to move before you can actually do shit again. You are expected to bathe every single day because you are caked in a layer of sweat. This is sad music, so it's not even fitting. You are expected to like bathe every single day, because by the end of the day, you are caked in a layer of dust and dirt and sweat, okay? Okay? And to make it worse, all of the good food is hot. Just to make it even worse. There is a reason. If you've ever been to a Hispanic party, to a Latino party, there is a reason why they start earliest at like 7 p.m. There's a reason why they're partying from 7 to like 3, 4 a.m. Because back in the old country, that was the only time you could actually do shit. In the morning, it's a little cooler. It's a little cooler in the morning. You're not partying in the morning. Nobody's partying in the morning. No. You're just preparing for the rest of the day. I don't know. You're preparing your food, you're cleaning your house, or you're going to school, or you're going to work. Noon is the worst time ever. Noon, you're just sitting there. Noon, you just melt. By noon, you just melt. And then finally, in the afternoon, once you're like done with like school and work and stuff, that's when you can actually do something. That's when you actually feel alive. What song is this? Whoa, whoops. What song is this? That is the wrong ones. I got way too deep into my rant. Oh, it's Inazuma. Okay. I'm so sorry, guys. Oh my god. You get it gets a little cooler in the mountains. But like, by cooler, I mean like a jacket. If you're in the high mountains, then like, oh yeah, no, definitely, you're wearing straight up a coat. But if you're in the normal mountains, just like normally, you're wearing a jacket. You don't need that much. What I'm trying to say here is that leather is hell, okay? That is like the actual worst thing you could possibly ever even consider wearing in these areas. Oh, okay. I mean, it's the reason why, like, traditional Aztec clothing is very, how you say, minimal. It's very minimal. Because it's hot as balls up there, okay? Up there, down there. It's hot as balls down there. So, oh boy. Oh man, I'm trying to... Come on. I will say though, this is gonna sound so stupid. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if this starts sounding weird. I will say though, I am just the tiniest bit This is gonna sound so stupid. This is gonna sound so stupid. This is not serious. This is not serious in the slightest. This is not. I am slightly disappointed at the fact that I didn't get men in loincloths. Except Shibalanke. Shibalanke is the only one. He was the only, like, proper man in a loincloth. Okay. It's not serious. It's not serious. Don't take it seriously. Because I remember, like, when I saw him in the murals, I was like, oh my god, finally, people in loincloths. Okay. This is way too high up. Moving down a little. Okay, this is gonna be the last frame that I draw. And then after that, actually, I do want to shout out a comment that I got on my Natlan video, because they actually brought up some points that I thought were very very fascinating. Bring this up a little bit, and then of course. Oh god, oh man, I forgot. This. Probably, yeah, you'd probably only see, like, the first two. And make him look a little higher up. Okay. And his feather is very, like, down. Because I had this adorable little idea that, his feather, the feather on the hair, on the hat, could sometimes, like, tell the audience, like, what he's feeling. Like, it droops down when he's, like, sad. And then it springs up when he's happy. It's like the most basic of basic, like, animation expression thingies, but I still think it'd be fun. It'd be really silly. And cute. Because Robin's cute. That sounded weird. Oh yeah, I was talking about Xbalanque and my not so subtle, like, crush on him. You know, I was just the taddest bit disappointed that Xbalanque didn't have, like, the most messed up story ever. Because Genshin seriously, like, Genshin seems to have this philosophy that if a god or a godlike figure is male, or, like, male presenting, then they must have, like, the most messed up, depressing ass story you have ever heard, like, ever. Like there's Venti and Zhongli, who already have very depressing stories when you really think about it. They both have very depressing stories. You have the story of Urabashi, which was a god in Inazuma, and how, like, this poor guy lost, like, his original civilization, decided to take in the Enkanomians, wanted to learn a little bit more about their culture, and came across Before Sun and Moon, and then and then after that was fated to die because it ended up being a banned books. Whoopsie daisy. Number 1. And then you have Sumeru with King Deshret, and how, like, Deshret had, like, a massive crush on the Goddess of Flowers. That isn't even me headcanoning, this is canon. He had a massive crush on the Goddess of Flowers, and the Goddess of Flowers knew he had a crush on her. He knew that. I mean, she knew that. And, and decided to manipulate him. Culminating into her giving him forbidden knowledge, which, like, if you didn't know, like, that shit's forbidden in Genshin for a reason, because that thing, like, literally, like, poisons the earth. She knows that this man is, like, head over heels, and then manipulates him into not only giving him forbidden knowledge, which makes him go insane, but also, it's strongly hinted that he kills her, and she uses, like, her death to poison the earth. This isn't me bullshitting, by the way. This is, like, all in the lore. I can't bring up the wiki pages like I did in my Natlan vid, but this was, like, a thing. What song is this? Whoops. What song is this? Also Inazuma. Soft mourns the memories. It's very nice. Yeah, there's Deshret. Not only that, like, after Deshret was played by his lover with a fiddle, like a fiddle, he also just, like, straight up, just, like, because of the forbidden knowledge, I keep joking that the forbidden knowledge was basically, like, drugs, because like, I don't know, I keep joking about that, not saying that it was, but, like, Kind of is, actually. Anyway, he gets, like, really hooked on the forbidden knowledge, and it makes him just, like, absolutely, like, go crazy. So crazy that he genuinely thought that Apep, which is the Dendro dragon in Sumeru, he genuinely thought that Apep was his friend. Meanwhile, Apep is like, I hate you, I hate humans, I hate gods, I hate the earth, I hate everything. Like, Nahida could barely even get a word out before Apep was like, when you die, I'm gonna laugh, you hear me? I'm gonna laugh. And Nahida is like, please, like, can I help you, please? Anyway, there's a story of Deshret. Oh my god, not only was he used by his girlfriend, question mark? Well, not really. Kind of. I mean, she did use his crush on her to, like, string him along. I don't know. Not only was he used by the woman he was absolutely, like, in love with, but he was also manipulated by his own people. Like after he came across forbidden knowledge and kind of sort of started to spiral is the reason why I make the drug allegory, because he was so, like, out of it most of the time that his people could, like, easily, like, manipulate him into, like, doing their own thing. And then he just went absolutely insane after that. And then after that, he had, like, a moment of lucidity and realized, like, oh shoot, this is bad. This is really, really bad. And he calls up Rukkhadevata, which is his other friend, and he's like, yo, can you help me? But he knew that if he stayed alive, he would probably, like, harm his people, like, in a very bad way. So he decided to sacrifice himself. That was a thing. That was a thing that happened. He should have been with Rukkhadevata instead. He should have been with her instead. She would have treated him better. No, like, his insanity got so bad that, like, even Rukkhadevata was like, ooh, Ike, yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but I don't like it. I'm out, bye. The funny thing is that, like, Deshret was, like, I don't know if he was the god of wisdom, but, like, it's cause the three. It's cause Rukkhadevata, King Deshret, and the goddess of flowers. The three of them, I think the three had the title of goddess, or just god of wisdom. And, I mean, Deshret was smart. I mean, he has technology. It's scattered all around the map, and you can use it, like, I mean, well, you can fight it. He big brain guy. He had the idea of the golden slumber, which was the first instance of human instrumentality before Genshin started to use it over and over and over again. I just think it's really funny, like, this is like a super uber smart guy, big brain. Actually, he's such a big brain that he was literally given the dendronosis, and he was like, nah, give it to my friend instead. But, you know, he had big brain, but no amount of big brain could stop him from thinking with his cactus when the goddess of flowers was nearby, and that caused his death. That caused his ultimate demise. Okay, like that didn't cause his ultimate demise. It's the fact that this woman, like, like, strung him along. It's whack. Sumeru lore is also really funny. I'm gonna shorten this a bit. I don't like how it's looking. Okay. That looks good. That looks good. That looks really good. That looks really good. And it's the same thing, but a bit downer. Yeah, the same thing. Alright, it's just the shoulders that are a little bit. Actually, I'm just gonna remove all of this because this would move along. I need to move it more downer. Move it more like here. So that it would make a bit more sense. Oops. And you wouldn't be able to see the little, like, scuff things. Okay. Oh, I forgot your little... This. I forgot this. No. There we go. Can you tell? Not really. Okay. 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 Hey, yo, look at that. My little boy. Little boy. Ah, he's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous. Beautiful darling. I say as he's getting, like, the shit beaten out of him by a creepy man in a horse outfit. Alrighty. Okay, so, yeah, we're gonna, as is tradition for this stream now, for these series of streams now, we're gonna plop in creepy dude, play the whole thing, and, oh yeah, that little section, this little section, I'm gonna do this section last, because most of this is really just gonna be, like, a couple drawings and some camera work, so, yeah. Alright, and then after that we can read some comments from my video, because, again, I think they were, like, pretty fascinating, and hold on a second, did I miss a couple comments? Oh my god, I had! I'm so sorry. So Chorus says, I can only imagine how worse it is if there's a dry spell. I'm pretty sure that was in reference to something that I said, and I don't remember what it was. We love seeing fictional men suffering. Yes. He a little guy. He is. Oh, yeah, I did finish my, like, rundown of, like, Genshin male gods having just, like, the saddest stories ever. Yeah, there's Deshret being freaking, like, strung along by the goddess of flowers who, like, definitely had some, like, inner rage. There's that. And then there's Remus from Fontaine lore, which was, like, single-handedly one of the most depressing things I have ever read in my entire life. It was one of the most depressing pieces of literature that I have ever had the pleasure of reading, and it had me break down, just absolutely had me break down crying. But, like, to summarize his story in the fewest words possible, Man was literally too nice for Fontaine. Like, Man had, like, so much love. And it's not like an Ochkan love that was, like, twisted and distorted. If anything, it was the opposite. It was such a wholesome amount of love. And his people were just, like, the worst things. Just like, the absolute worst. Like, Fontainians in modern Genshin are already, like, the absolute worst. Remurians, who are ancient Fontainians based off the Roman Empire, were like 10 times worse. Like, Man was quite literally too nice. He, like, to summarize his story, he was just way too nice. And to make it even sadder is that this man was so nice that he, like, sacrificed himself for his people. And not only did it not work, but his people didn't even care. Like, dude, Remus's story had me absolutely bawling. And I actually do genuinely mean that. I kind of exaggerate when I say that the Remuria quest was, like, the best piece of literature I have ever read, but I'm actually not exaggerating when I say that, like, I like broke down playing that. But anyway. And so, like, imagine me seeing Xbalanque, who was the first Pyro Archon. I instantly went, oh man, I can't wait to learn about his messed up story. And I mean, the world he was in was messed up. Definitely, the world he was in was messed up. I mean, he himself wasn't necessarily that messed up. If anything, he was the most stable. It's the other guys. It was the other guys. It was the other boys. The other Natlan boys, as I'm gonna call them. They did, like, Ochkan? Ooh. Ooh. I already talked about him, like, in my video, but like, ooh. Man had not only tragic backstory, but man had issues, bro. And Wahaklahun Ubakan, he wasn't necessarily, I mean, he ended up being messed up. But he wasn't at first, which is, like, what I find so interesting about him, is that the fact that he started off, like, very, very genuine, and he's still genuine. It's just, like, he just kind of gave up. He just kind of gave up. Yeah. And also, okay, let me actually mention this about, like, Wahaklahun Ubakan's relationship with his son. I didn't, I showed the little wiki thingies, in the video, about him being like, my beloved son is born, look how beautiful and amazing and gorgeous he is. I didn't know, I didn't come across that until a little later, while I was editing the video, and it actually kind of sort of impeded just a little bit on the point of the video, because I had everything, like, done and recorded, and I was just looking for, like, wiki, like, screenshots that I could take. And I ended up finding that, and it was like a gold mine. It was like an absolute gold mine, because it was just like a little hint of, like, baby Ochkan. And, like, and for it to start with, well, Kukulkan at the time, being like, my son, look how amazing, and, like, look at him, he's beautiful, he's perfect, he's gorgeous, like, my brother wouldn't even recognize him, blah, blah, blah. And, like, and when he's talking about, like, his son being in the Bishop Nest, it's very different than, like, the other accounts with Ochkan, because the other accounts written by the other dragons are like, oh, he's stealing food from the bishops, and he fights the bishops, and he heals, like, his healing abilities are much faster than that of an average human, which, you know, obviously means that the bishops were attacking him, and the fact that he was stealing food also implied that they were starving him. Bad stuff, very bad stuff. And yet, not that like Kukulkan's treatment of him was absolutely perfect, but, like, it's a very different, like, it's written very differently, where he says, like, he's in the Bishop Nest, and I think it says something like, oh, when it's feeding time, which, first of all, the phrase feeding time I freaking love. Oh, when it's feeding time, he eats a lot more than the bishops, and, like, it shows his strength, look how strong he is, and and, like, maybe it's just me, but I was like, that's kind of cute. It's kind of cute. And so it kind of changed a little bit, like, my perception, because I was under the impression that, like, his father experimented on him, and he probably did, he most likely did, but like, it kind of gave me the vibe that it was less so of, let's throw him in a lair and see what he does type of experimentation, and more so a, like, how is he reacting to bishops? How much food is he eating? Like, I'm gonna look at his appearance. Okay, like, as of right now, he looks very human, but later on, he'll, like, develop, like, scales or horns or something. And like, it is still very, like, experimental, cold, and scientific, but it's nowhere near, like, the implications that the other dragons, like, starved him and stuff. And so, but by that point, I already recorded everything. And so I was just looking for, like, wiki stuff to, like, slap in on the footage, and it did, yeah. But, yeah. The reason I'm saying this is because, like, ever since finding that, like, gold mine of a thing, and I think I also noticed that in the volcano quest, like, at the end, when you're in front of the Huitzilopochtli, like, when Kukulkan mentions his son, he doesn't say, like, oh, yeah, him. Like, he says, like, he says, like, you know, like, I raised my I raised my beloved son amongst the people. Why did I do that? Well, I clearly love humanity on a level that even I didn't fully realize. And then him saying, like, I'm not disappointed in my son because necessarily what he did per se, but I'm disappointed in him because a lot of my flaws he repeated, and it's like and so like I kind of got a hint of that in there as well. And so I'm mentioning this. I probably should make it a pinned comment actually in the video. I mentioned this because like ever since I found that little gold mine of a thing while like looking for wiki stuff, it kind of like changed my perception just like a teeny tiny bit. Where it's like, look, Wax was not the best parent out there, most definitely not. I stand by what I said when I say he saw his son more so as a political statement than a son. Like, because like when he says like, oh, my son is beautiful, like what he means is like physically he is the perfect manifestation of these two species, therefore it proves my point that these two species can not only coexist but can create a new species, like that kind of stuff, right? Like I still stand by what I said, that he still views his son more so as a political statement, but the fact that he spoke about his son at the end of the volcano quest when he goes on about how when he goes on about not only his hope in humanity, but that like tiny little part of him that's like even when I want to end it all, I still have a love for humanity that just has never gone away even after thousands and thousands of years. And so it's like, was he the best parent? Hell nah. But but I do believe that there was like some genuine love there. Even if he didn't know how to express it very well. Because when you meet Kukulkan in the Volcano Quest, he is called, like, person with a cold voice. And, I mean, they make it clear that he's not the most expressive person out there. And yeah. Yeah. Okay, I went on for so long. Okay, okay, let's watch this, Where's the... Alright, turn off. Stop. Okay. Let's bring up the little thingy. Now, since pretty much all of Robin's part is animated, except the one little part with the knife, but honestly, that's just probably like... I was thinking that's like a still frame, because the real animation is Guy's hand, which I kind of already did. Anywho.
Oh, come now, you don't really think we're different, we're one and the same. We're not the same. You don't get to have all the power and none of the blame. You're not saving any lives by killing an innocent boy. Then what in Olympus's name did you do in Troy? We're one and the same.
Beautiful, amazing, perfect, awesome. Hold up, let me make like a little bigger, put this to like isolate it a little more. Let's do it again.
Oh, come now, you don't really think we're different, we're one and the same. We're not the same. You don't get to have all the power and none of the blame. You're not saving any lives by killing an innocent boy. Then what in Olympus's name did you do in Troy? We're one and the same.
I think I'm gonna change... Let me just shut this off. I think I'm going to change the expression, like Robin's expression when he says Troy. This part right here, yeah. And what is going on? I think I'm gonna change the expression a little bit here. Or, I guess what I really mean is the mouth. I don't know if I will, but I think I might, because I feel like it's it feels a little too extreme, but at the same time, I'm also thinking like, well, like, yeah, no, duh, he's going through like a bit of an emotional moment, so like, of course it'd be like, Gah. But I don't know. I think I might have to finish Guy's part to really think about it. But yeah, Cora says it's coming along nicely. I think it is too. Whoops. I already mentioned this, but like, this isn't going to be like, oh my god, what the hell? No, I just need to, I wanted to scroll. What the heck? Why ain't you scrolling? Like you're supposed to scroll. Fine. All right. Be that way. Yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, I think it's coming along pretty good. I mentioned this before, but it's not supposed to be this, like, super uber complicated, like, animation. This is just, like, rough. Honestly, like, if you're gonna ask me, like, what is my real motivation, aside from, hey, look at my cool little Robin Hood stuff, it's portfolio. Like, I want to be like, hey, this is an example of some, like, rough animation. But okay. Now, let me see, what's a good frame for me to, like... What's a good frame that I could, like... end on. Actually, I like the ending frame with Robin. No, the other one. Yeah, that's cute. We could stick with this one. Okay. So there's a couple comments on that video that I do want to read because I found them very, very fascinating. So we're just gonna hold a quick second. Just find. Actually, yes, we can put the music back on. You save it, actually. Just save it a million times. Always save your stuff, guys. You never know when something can crash. Alright. So, both of these comments come from the same person called Penny Macaroni 4413. So... And again, I just found them super fascinating. Super fascinating, and I really wanted to mention them. Okay, so they're kind of long. I warn, but again, I just found them super fascinating. So this first one says, I think it's interesting how both Ochkan and Kukulkan were both so fixated on their own ideas of a perfect world they couldn't see the true bond between the species building up. For Wahaklahun, he got sick of waiting for a united civilization and of dragons and humans and the cyclical wars the humans waged. But because that was the only way he could picture a utopia he hoped for, he didn't see the nuances of the new existences the dragons took on. To him, they became pets. But that isn't true if you look at the role the Saurians take in most tribes. They have their own houses, families, nests, and in tribes like the Flower Feather Clan and Masters of the Nightwind, the Saurians have vital roles for the respective tribe's culture and way of life. That's like the first part. I didn't even think about that, actually. I actually did not think about that. And, like, I was like, oh my god, wait, no, you're right. The Saurians are very vital to the tribe's way of life. Like, that is true. And, yeah, no, I just didn't think about that, but it is a very, very good point that it's like Wax was so fixated on a very specific type of coexistence that he really didn't consider any other type. I'm gonna skip a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna skip just a little bit. Okay. But because that wasn't the greatest civilization they had before, Kukulkan wasn't able to see it. And with the human tribes, to me it's pretty simple. Humans, with all of the war that entailed, chose to preserve their individual cultures instead of uniting as one nation. That doesn't make them weaker, that makes them less centralized, but because it wasn't what he hoped for, he couldn't appreciate it. That I think is also was something that I did consider that because the tribes don't, like, fight each other in modern Natlan, but the idea that, like, Kukulkan couldn't see why the tribes never united, like, in a positive light. He only ever saw it as, like, oh, they're just gonna be endlessly fighting forever, which, you know, in modern Natlan, they're not. And they probably stay tribes because they want to be. With Ochkan, it's also really clear. He loved humanity to such a deranged degree that he couldn't see how the people he ruled were hurt by them, and the humans he cherished saw him as the tyrant he was and went after him for it. I think that's the core similarity that scared Wahaklahun, even if that didn't stop him from perpetuating the pattern. They were both so fixated on what a perfect Natlan would be, the violence they both experienced and inflicted clouded their judgment so much, that they couldn't see the better world building itself little by little in front of their eyes. Again, like, I didn't even, I thought about that in the sense of they were both very fixated on a very specific type of utopia that it blinded them from seeing any other option. But I didn't really think of the fact that Natlan was getting better on its own, and they just didn't see that. Again, I just think it's so cool. I personally think that if Xbalanque was alive, he would have been able to see that, and even showed it to both of them. But he wasn't, and that's a core part of this trio's tragedy. This is where he starts talking. This is where this comment starts talking about Xbalanque, and again, I just found so fascinating. And that is a core part of this trio's tragedy. Failures and dismissal aside, Xbalanque was the most clear-headed of the three. It makes sense. He's like, out of the three, he has the least amount of trauma, I guess. Xbalanque was the most clear-headed of the three. He didn't live long enough to stop them both from spiraling, and that was by his own choice. He didn't want to live for a second longer than what was meant for his mortal lifespan, and influenced by the sorry state of Xuecolotl was in when they fought. Even if it could save Natlan a good 70 years of carnage at least. Yeah, okay, I didn't mention it in my stream, in my video, because I wasn't 100% sure, and I'm still not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure, I'm saying sure a lot, I'm pretty sure that Xbalanque's choice to stay mortal, was a choice, but I wasn't like fully 100% on that, so I didn't mention it. But if it was 100% his choice, then it's like what I said. It's like, how can you ensure the next person is going to be a good person? You can't. And yet he still took the gamble. Anyway. If not, I'm just going to be repeating my video. Because Xbalanque is still human, that human selfishness, refusing to stand as the immortal hero, Ochkan saw him as, and that Kukulkan wanted to control, that overarching will to live his life by his terms and his alone is the greatest strength and legacy to the Archons that followed, and his biggest weakness and burden for Natlan to care. I'm assuming it means to carry. Xbalanque put the fate of Natlan in the hands of its people and refused to guide them to a better one because he was confident that he was just a guy and people would learn to live without him. He was profoundly wrong and incredibly right at the same time. And I just thought that was so cool. And I don't know if this music is too loud. Hold on a sec. No, okay, I don't think the music is too loud. Yeah, I love the part of he was profoundly wrong and incredibly right at the same time. And it was so interesting, as I mentioned. Very ethos of him. Ethos? Like, I'm sorry, me dum-dum. But yeah, I just thought that was so interesting, especially the part of, Xbalanque chose to stay mortal because, yeah, at the very essence, he didn't see himself as a god. He just saw himself as a normal person. And I mean, yeah, that is part of his character. Like, when the one time he speaks to Malvika with his normal voice, he tells her, "We are human. Never forget that." And yeah, it would make sense that, like, he doesn't want to be the ruler of Natlan for all of eternity because, like, he's like, I'm just a guy. Like, I'm gonna rule over while I'm alive, but I'm gonna die. And yeah. But, like, I love the idea of, like, if he chose to stay immortal and saw both of his friends spiral, he probably would have stopped it. Because, I mean, Homie is strong. I mean, Homie was strong not only as a normal human, but, like, imagine as an Archon. You know, like, Ochkan would have listened to him, like, in a heartbeat, because this is Ochkan we're talking about. Ochkan would have listened to him in a heartbeat. And, well, Haklahun highly, highly respected him. Haklahun would have probably, like, actually sat down and listened to him. Cora says, ethos is a way of life. Ah, okay. And the Archon lets Natlan go as it is. Yeah. Vinny Joy says, hey, Peppermint, I'm back. Hi. Unfortunately, we are going to be ending this stream soon. I just wanted to just ramble just a little bit more, because I did say I was rambling about Natlan lore, and here I am. Yeah, no, I just find that so fascinating. And again, I even mentioned this in my video, but like Xbalanque and his friend group saw that Ochkan was his descent, and yet they didn't do anything. Or more accurately, when they did, Xbalanque was already dead, and like it was already pretty late. Like, like man was like gone. Like Ochkan was in such a spiral. But anyway, so wait, Vinny Joy says, hey Peppermint, were draw 20th century Fox logo and hide and seek style. Huh? Like for me to draw the logo? Anyway, but yeah, I just thought that was interesting, the idea that like him choosing, like, his two friends are immortal. Or, like, I'm assuming Ochkan is immortal. Like, just timeline-wise, he feels immortal. And, I mean, it makes sense since he's half-dragon. So, like, yeah, he feels immortal to me. Like, two of his friends are immortal. And he chose to not be immortal. Which, on one hand, is highly commendable. On one hand, it's very, you see value not only in death, not only in the human, not only in a mortal lifespan, but in just being human. You see so much value in humanity, that you cherish even something that many would consider not as cool, like mortality. But on the other hand, it's also like one of your friends is spiraling out of control, and the other, although at the time was pretty chill, like, had a specific view of the world, or a specific vision for the world, that was probably not going to be attainable. And the thing is that Xbalanque knew that certain things were unattainable. Again, the entire him reviving was a bet. He kept the Huitzilopochtli. He kept that shit secret. Like, there was very clearly a part of his mind that was like, I have a specific dream for Natlan, but there is a chance it's not gonna work. Okay, I'm just repeating my video again. I just thought those comments were extremely, that comment was very, very fascinating. I loved it a lot. I don't know, I just think it's really cool. And very, very good points that I didn't even think about, like the Saurians' role in the tribes. Okay, I went on for way too long. Let's get to my PNG thingy. I went on for way too long. And this stream, it's like nearly 10. You have me rambling about Genshin lore. I can talk until like the sun goes up. Yeah, I'm just like still on like the Natlan hype. I'm still very much on the Natlan hype, and it kind of sucks because everyone has just moved on to Mondstadt now. Everyone's like, okay, Natlan's finally over. Let's get out of here. And I'm sitting here like being like, wait, no. There's some like really cool stuff here. Like, don't leave just yet. Like, I know that like the main story wasn't the best thing ever, but the little one quests, bro. But yeah. All right. So next stream. I mentioned this in the beginning of the stream, but next stream, I think we're not going to be doing an animation stream next stream. I was thinking of playing, the new Fontaine event that is out right now, because I'm still going to wait until next patch to play the Archon quest in Mondstadt. I'm still going to wait for that, but my dummy little brain kind of didn't, like, I didn't think about the fact that is this loud? I don't know if it's loud. Okay, my dumb little brain didn't think about the fact that the event in Fontaine might only be there for like 20 days, and I'm like, oh wait, no, I need to play that because I do want to play it because it looks, I don't know what's going on, but it looks really silly and funny. And also, just like Natlan characters in Fontaine, I found that really fun. But, so yeah, so I think tomorrow we're going to be playing the Fontaine event, and yeah, that's basically it. I know they mentioned Remuria somewhere in there, and so that's and so like even if it's like the teeniest, tiniest little babyest piece of lore, I'm like, no, gimme anything Remurian, gimme. Alrighty then. I think that's all I have to say for now. Well, it's not all I have to say. Like I said, I can talk about Genshin lore forever, but I don't know if you guys want to hear me talk about it forever, so we're gonna stop for now. Cora says, Neato, can't wait for the next stream. Thank you. So, I mean, yeah, no, I think that's it. Thank you for sticking in the stream, and, hopefully I can stream on Thursday. I mean, you should be able to, but, yeah, things can happen. But, yeah, other than that, that's it.